that to everyone who has, more will be given. But as for one who has nothing, even what he has will be taken. Even those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me. That's a lot. But just hold up. Jesus' ministry into Jerusalem, verse 28. After Jesus had said this, he went on to the ahead, going up to Jerusalem. As he approached Bethphage in Bethany, at the hill called Mount of Olives, he sent two of his disciples, saying, "Go to the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there, which no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you why you are untying it, tell him the Lord needs it." Those who were sent ahead went and found it just as he told them. As they were untying the colt, his owners asked them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They replied, "The Lord needs it." They brought it back to Jesus, threw their cloaks on top of the coat, and put Jesus on it. As he went along, people spread their cloaks on the road. When he came near the place where the road goes down to the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in a loud voice for all the miracles that they had seen. "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in the heaven and glory in the highest." Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." "I tell you," Jesus said, "if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out." As he approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace. But now it is hidden from your eyes. The days will come upon you when your enemy will build an embankment against you and encircle you and hem you on every side. They will dash you to the ground, and you and the children within your walls. They will not leave one stone on another, because you did not recognize the time of God's coming to you." Then he entered the temple area and began driving out all those who were selling. And this, my friends, is why Palm Sunday is so important. So for over a decade, I have preached from the Passion narrative on Palm Sunday, and this year I'm going to follow my personality and deviate it from just a little bit. Today I'm preaching from the Palm Sunday Gospel reading. Why? Palm Sunday tells a story that prepares us to read the Passion's narrative. It prepares us to learn the lessons Jesus taught the disciples using a donkey. He used a donkey to show them the heart of the divine. My Palm Sunday sermon is this message. Choose a donkey over a horse. How many of y'all are familiar with donkeys? They're ornery, aren't they? They're ornery. They can be a pain in the butt. They really can. They are stubborn. They are and they smell bad. Hey, how are you? Good. So, the donkey teaches disciples then and now how much bravery it takes to follow the suffering servant. It takes courage to follow destiny over fear. First, they learn to serve with humility. Sometimes I think it was hard to be a disciple. They had to be so devoted, and they had to be on the inside relationship with Jesus. The Gospels say he even gave them the power to preach and heal the sick in his name. They watched the power of God and witnessed the miraculous regularly. Can't talk. It's hard to go from the main actor on stage to a stagehand behind the curtain. It must have been confusing. It must have been confusing when Jesus said, "Go ahead of me, and there you will find a donkey tied. Bring it back to me." Humility is demanding. Instead of working miracles and healing the sick, we find the disciples on donkey duty. Heal the sick, of course. Work miracles, absolutely. Humble themselves for donkey detail? It's a tough pill to swallow. So, how many of you have ever had your pride hurt before? Our pride I think everybody's pride has been hurt at some point or another. Now, when I first got into ministry, I knew it wasn't always going to be preaching in front of crowds and things along those lines. Do you know what I did my first couple of years in ministry in a very, very small church? I was the janitor. I was the secretary. I was the singer. And at the very end came the preaching. I learned real fast how to be humble. How to be humble. And as a young pastor, I didn't make much. And there were always people there to help me out. Do you think my pride was too big to take out a handout? No. Pride can be the downfall of humanity. So you have the disciples who are with Jesus all the time. They have seen Jesus in the most intimate moments. They've seen Jesus heal the sick. They saw him bring Lazarus back from the dead. They've seen him turn water into wine, spit on the ground, rub mud on a blind man's eyes, and now the man can see. Jesus told them that they could go and perform miracles in his name, and they did. But guess what? Jesus told them to run ahead of him and go get a donkey. A donkey. They were on donkey duty. And let me tell you something. A donkey sure can produce some beauty. It is not fun. Especially when they do it right in front of you as you're walking. And trust me, sometimes donkeys are so mean, they'll do it just to tick you off. But you can sense it in the gospel. The disciples seem confused about how to retrieve a donkey. Jesus had to tell them, go find it and bring it back to me. Lessons in humility are tough. Jesus makes sure that our souls are not always center stage. He knows it's not good for the soul to continually be popular. When we become celebrities, it generates worshipers instead of followers of Jesus. Humble yourself and go find a donkey. The second lesson the disciples learned was to deny power and celebrity. To deny power and celebrity. Humility denies the enticement of power and popularity. In the first century, the temptation to choose power was ever present. The Jews expected a king, a man who would liberate the Holy Land from the Roman control. They hoped it would be Jesus. As Passover approached, Jerusalem would swell to 10 times its normal population. The inns were full. The Temple Mount was at its capacity. It was the most important festival of the Jewish year. Each year, thousands of prayers ascended to heaven as Jews prayed for their liberator king. Here's where the gospel reading of the donkey becomes fascinating. A few days before Jesus enters the city, Pilate entered on a horse. It was a message to the Jews that Roman power over them surpassed their hopes of the Messiah. You see, the Romans, they always thought they were better than the Jews. Always. And they wanted to prove that in every single way possible. Now, horses in Jerusalem, usually you have camels and you have donkeys and maybe you have mules. You don't see horses. Horses are a symbol of power back then. They were a symbol of majesty. They were symbols of kings and princes and queens. But some people did have horses, but they just didn't ride them. Now, Caesar walks into Jerusalem as they're praying, basically to prove to them that no matter who they prayed to, Caesar was better. Well, Jesus, he knows humility. Jesus also knows that the Jews are praying for a king with a sword to come and overthrow everything. They were not expecting a king with a heart. With a heart. So when the disciples go and get the donkey, they're like, why a donkey? Jesus, you should be riding a horse. You need to go in riding on a horse to prove to all these people that you are the king. That's not what Jesus was. Jesus was a king, but he came for a totally different reason. Yes, he came to overthrow the Roman Empire. But here's the thing. He wasn't going to overthrow them with a sword. He was going to overthrow them with hope, love, charity, kindness. We don't know many rulers that have those attributes, do we? A lot of people perceive all those attributes as being weak. As being weak. If you care for somebody, that's a weakness. But no, Jesus knew that that was one of the most important attributes for a king. Are y'all following me? Yeah? Have I lost you? No, y'all good?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all look tired today. Are y'all tired? Yeah. So what did the disciples learn on Palm Sunday? They realized that humility is the way of the kingdom and popularity is the way of the world. Popularity is the way of the world. How many of you knew the popular kids in high school? Yep. Are they still popular? Nope. Because outside of high school, it doesn't really matter, does it? Nope. Yes, we have celebrities that are popular. Taylor Swift. Let's see, what's the name of another one? Chappelle Roan. Come on, y'all name some people who are celebrities. She's the one who sings Pink Pony Club.
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. She's a Celine Dion. Y'all name some more. The Kardashians, Kanye, Jay-Z. Yes. Yeah, Beyonce. You see? They're all popular, right? They're all popular. What are they doing? They're just sitting back making money. But let me tell you something. Can popularity get you into the kingdom of heaven?
No.
Can money get you in the kingdom of heaven?
No.
No. So why do people want popularity so much? Why?
Because it makes them feel better.
It makes them feel better. And it's not bad to have a little bit of money in your pocket, is it?
No.
But when that's all you do, that becomes something else. Servants are not popular. The crowd that followed Jesus in Jerusalem quickly diminished when he disappointed them. I've learned the crowd usually leaves when they are disheartened. Few stick around and heroically choose love. The crowds would usually return to Egypt before they walk through the desert of disappointment. Disappointment tests life, faith, hope, and even love. When we expect a horse and get a donkey, we're tempted to walk away, aren't we? Let's face it. You stand in a massive crowd at Six Flags to get on the most popular ride there, right? I don't know, what's the most popular ride at Six Flags right now? Devin, what's your favorite ride?
Superman.
Superman is always a popular ride over there. Let's just say you're waiting for 2 hours to ride on Superman. And next thing you know, you get on it, And it's nowhere near as fun as you thought it would be. Instead of lasting 5 whole minutes, it only lasts a minute and a half. And you're disappointed because you waited for 2 hours to ride that ride. That is how some of the Jewish spectators thought. That's what they thought happened. They were expecting a Messiah to come in with a sword risen on a horse, ready to tell everybody to go kill every Roman possible. No. Jesus came in on the back of a donkey and prayed. Did Jesus deserve a horse? Of course he did. But as a servant, he chose a donkey. The way of a cross instead of the way of a conqueror. The metaphor of the donkey answers the question, who is this Jesus? Is he the one who dies so others can live? The horse, Pilate's horse, always tempts our hearts to say, I did better than the rest of my friends. I'm smarter. I have more natural gifts. God favored me. The donkey, Jesus' donkey, always offers our hearts the chance to say, how can I choose love over pride? How can I use my gifts to serve others? How can I share my blessings with the world? So that leads me to the true story about serving. When John F. Kennedy started the Peace Corps, they ran one of the greatest TV ads in history. The TV commercial opened with an undeveloped country. The camera zoomed in on an American behind a plow pulled by a beast of burden. The voiceover went something like this. If you just graduated college and you're looking for a job halfway around the world where you can work in 110 degrees, sleep on a dirt floor, risk malaria, get paid $1.25 an hour, and feel better about yourself than you ever thought possible, we've got a job for you. And feel better about yourself than you've ever thought possible. The commercial understood the gospel message. Risk it. Lay it all down for someone beside yourself. Take up the cross, let it hurt, feel it, choose it, carry it in the hope of love. In today's world, it's all about this. All about this, the money. Let me tell you something, y'all. You are here to learn a trade so you can make money. But that is not why you're all here. You're here at chapel because you wanted to learn something. But let me learn you this. Money can't buy you into heaven. You know, I follow Jesus not to get into heaven. I follow Jesus because he is God's only son. And I want to live my life the way he wanted to live. Y'all, this money, they say money's the root of all evils, and yes, it is. Yes, it is. Wars are fought about money. People die because of money. People's hearts are broken because of money. But let me tell you this. Jesus had every opportunity to get that horse and ride into Jerusalem like a king. But he didn't want to give that message. He gave the message of someone who wanted to bring an olive branch instead of a sword. He wanted peace instead of power. Let me tell you, you can have power in this world, but you can't carry it with you when you're dead. You can can have money in this world, but you can't carry it with you when you're dead. Truth. You came into this world naked and you will die naked. Absolutely nothing. The things that you leave behind aren't really important. But you can change someone's life by bringing them peace. You can change someone's life by feeding them, clothing them, bringing them joy when they're sad, being a friend to them when they have no friends. You can do that, and let me tell you something. That will live on. How many of you have ever seen the movie Gladiator? It's one of my favorite movies with Russell Crowe in it. Oh man, the fighting scenes in that movie are freaking amazing. But in the very first part of the movie, Russell Crowe turns to his men right before they fought the Germanic army, and he says, "What you do in this lifetime will echo in eternity." Not what do you have in your pocket, not how much money is in your bank account. It's what we do. It's what we do. So what are we doing? What are we doing to make someone else's life happier or more abundant? We got to think. We do it by love. Love. All Jesus had to do was ask God right then and there for his angel armies to come down and prove right then and there and wipe out the entire Roman army. But he didn't. You know why? Because Jesus saw hope in the Roman people. Just like he sees hope in us. I have been all over the world. I've seen a lot of crazy things. I've seen a lot of scary things. I've seen a lot of good things. But the things that stand out in my mind are the people who needed help. The people who were helped. The orphans, the battered women. If you look hard enough, you can see them here too. Jesus came to bring peace, not a sword. I don't know why it's so hard in today's society for us to not bring peace instead of drama, peace instead of hatred, bigotry, racism. Everybody says they can't wait till Jesus comes back. But I say nobody's ready for Jesus to come back yet. We're not ready. Because we can't even have peace with our neighbors. We're not ready for Jesus to come back yet. Wouldn't y'all agree? But Jesus brings us hope. And even though y'all will not be here this Sunday, the next Sunday is Easter. When do y'all come back?
After 4 p.m. Sunday.
That'll be back Sunday.
So we will not have an Easter service in here on Sunday. But I encourage y'all, go to church at home. Hear the miracle of Christ being risen. And I want y'all to come back rejuvenated, ready to work, ready to make a difference. Because y'all got what, 5 more weeks here? 5, 6 weeks? Not 6 or 7? Sorry, that was bad. I shouldn't have done that. We need to make a difference. We need to make a difference. Shortly after Jesus goes in to Jerusalem, the very next chapter is where Jesus flips tables in the temple. And then after that, you get close to the Last Supper where Judas betrays Jesus. Although I think Judas gets a bad rap. I think Judas gets a bad rap, but that's just my opinion. The poor woman gives all that she has. Then they arrested Jesus. Then they beat Jesus. Then Jesus dies on the cross. And then, 3 days later, the most amazing thing ever happened. Nothing could ever top this. That's when Jesus was resurrected. I don't know. I know that there are people out in this world that need proof to see that Christ is Lord. Let me tell you, you can prove it to me. Want me to tell you how? By choosing humility, not power. By choosing peace, not conflict. By choosing to help and not ignore. By feeding the hungry, clothing the sick, clothing the naked, healing the sick, being a friend to the friendless. I don't care what other people see. But I want people to know that I follow Christ by my actions and not by my mouth. Because we know in this world a lot of people can talk a serious game, but they can't walk it. They can't walk it. Devin,
Make what?
sit right there.
Okay.
I told you I was going to sing happy birthday to you in Spanish.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Alright.
Come on, guys.
All right. All right, you ready? Y'all say it in Spanish?
Y'all say this.
All right. Feliz cumpleaños tu. Feliz cumpleaños tu. Feliz cumpleaños, Señor Devin. Feliz cumpleaños tu. There you go. I'm not going to speak Spanish, but I will pray a blessing over you.
Okay.
Deus te bendiga, Devin. Deus te bendiga. That means always walk with God. Deus, say it with me. Deus
Deus
te
te
bendiga.
bendigo.
Bendiga.
Bendiga.
Bendiga. Deus te bendiga. It means walk with God.
A walk with God.
Walk with God.
Walk.
For all of you, I pray the same thing. Deus te bendiga. And vai com Deus. Amen. Y'all have an amazing spring break. I hope y'all have a lot of fun.